countless times this game has left me in my underwear. Literally, because if you are old people of the world or know a mythical franchise, you will know that the protagonist of these adventures is losing his armor and clothes with each blow received, until he dies. And that will happen many times. I laugh at Miyazaki and all the Souls, Bloodborne and Sekiro together, because this is a real hell. And there's the grace. Ghost and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghost are classic video games of the 80s, when that of difficulty was the hallmark of a medium that was striving to throw a new coin into the recreational machine on duty. It was more profitable to be difficult than easy, of course, but you had to maintain a complicated balance of palpable improvement in each attempt, almost as if you were paying for private lessons, to feel that you were getting closer to the goal, which sometimes was to complete the first phase and that's it. Ghost and Goblins Resurrection was born to worship these classic video games, keeping the essence inside a packaging that feels new and that we can easily play on Nintendo Switch. Like in the past, but now. Much of the success of Ghost and Goblins Resurrection lies in its ability to create an enjoyable packaging today on Nintendo's hybrid console. With a new visual aspect, more beautiful aesthetically, but that manages to remind us of the images of the games of the time. As its name indicates, it is a resurrection, so it is time to pay homage but serve under current standards. The simple control scheme is maintained and anyone can play Ghost and Goblins Resurrection. Another thing is that I am able to complete it, of course. Advance, jump and use the different weapons that we will find on the stages and that will allow us to kill all the creatures that will not hesitate to complicate our lives excessively. Zombies, demons, skeletons, terrifying creatures, everything you see on stage is susceptible to ending your life. And sometimes even what you don't see. This absolute requirement does not match the current standards of the video game industry. It's not that the public doesn't want difficult video games, but this franchise is one step ahead. It is normal that with the excuse of the resurrection we have wanted to make some adjustments in terms of complication, and before starting to play we will have the possibility of choosing between different levels of difficulty. Do you want the classic difficulty? You have it. An even greater challenge. You are crazy, but you can. Do you prefer to play something quieter or opt for the easiest option? Ghost and Goblins Resurrection will still be difficult, but less desperate. Choose your path. But here you have come to play. Don't be a coward to me. These changes are appreciated, but on many occasions the game is excessively hostile to the player, not only with the presence of enemies, but with the layout of scenarios, mobile platforms and other types of impediments. We will die a lot, perhaps too much, and sometimes failing does not depend entirely on our inaccuracy with the controls. Ghost and Goblins Resurrection allows us to start the game again from different control points arranged by all levels, which facilitates progress a little more. If they kill us, we won't have to start from scratch and, in addition, we won't have limited lives to complete the entire game. That would be an absolute feat worthy of a few. The work tries to be respectful to the maximum consequences and it is impossible not to see the efforts to maintain the original essence. These additions suit him to facilitate entry into his world, but perhaps more than one player would have preferred a much more complete reform, not only trying to bring the classic approach closer in a modern environment, but creating a new Ghost and Goblins from scratch. But, of course, it is not his intention or what he intends to offer. Everything reminds us of classic deliveries, despite their new visual appearance. There is technology and we will see novel elements in their scenarios, in the behavior of enemies, in the generation of some traps. But Ghost and Goblins Resurrection is a unique and lonely love song to the classic games of the legendary franchise. Weapons of all kinds, classic and new, as well as spells and abilities. We will find everything on stage and they will be fundamental to guarantee victory or failure, and yes, there are still some totally useless tools that can destroy our hopes as before. Different scenarios ranging from the classic cemeteries, which yes, they will also remind us of the classic installments, to more spectacular but equally complex places. We will be able to choose the path to take, so that we can suffer some scenarios or others to our liking. Like the one who chooses to be hit in the jaw or chest. It hurts, but at least you can see it coming. If you are able to enter its destructive dynamic and you like games that shoot first and greet later, you will feel at home. It gets hard and it is impossible not to think that the market is full of other quality exponents, who are probably able to offer a much more pleasant experience than this product. But if you go for Ghost and Goblins Resurrection, you know full well where you are going and what you have come to. Do you like the classic saga and want to meet again with these briefs? Rescue the princess and suffer a lot? Don't hesitate. Pros: a song of love to the classic saga. New difficulties and accessibility options minimize suffering. Simple control, inherited from the games of yesteryear. Cons: if you want an evolution, you won't find it. It is a resurrection very faithful to the originals. Demanding, difficult and unfair is little. Arm yourself with patience. The verdict: if you feel love for classic games, Ghost and Goblins Resurrection will love it. It's a love song, adapted to Nintendo Switch with the right thing. A new visual aspect, but always remembering the unjust moments we were going through with one of the most difficult and fucking sagas in the history of the medium. New difficulties allow us to minimize suffering, but what have we come to?